right. We know that we want a new striker. And Ollie Watkins seems to be at the top of the list due to the cost of pretty much 40 to 45 million as they believe they can get him for. Or the Sesco's, which is deemed to be too expensive. I don't need to go into all of that. Make sure you smash the like button, because this is what you call Red Dead Redemption. I mean, on the thumbnail it says Devil's Redemption, but you know, Red Dead Redemption, because look at our front three. Yeah? Look at our front three going into the season potentially. Well, I say going into the season. It might not be at the start. It just depends if these lot can get their act together. But I am excited. And yes, I might make some bold predictions. I might say something that I might regret, sure. But when you got the likes of Cunha, Mbeumo, and potentially Ollie Watkins, I mean, we gone from scoring about 40 goals last season, 50 odd goals the season before that, 50 odd goals the season before that. I'm smelling all three of these getting all of those goals all in one. That's the way I'm looking at it. And I feel like United are going to surprise quite a few people. And I don't blame rivals. I really don't. I don't blame rivals for doubting United whatsoever. You can only go off what you've seen. And, you know, there's a lot of discourse around Amorim. Can he even coach? The players, the balance. But it's always been about finding the balance at United for pretty much the longest now. Now, I've been waiting for a long time. You know, we haven't had balance since, you'd say, Herrera, Pogba, Matic. You know, when Bruno came through the doors, you had Pogba and, you needed more of a more solid DM behind, but that was never the case. There's always been something missing. But one thing I do know is that I'm probably going to outscore your team. That's the best part about it. I mean, we need to find a midfield balance. And we've all seen that United are actively searching for a midfielder. You know, someone that's definitely very mobile, as what they've described. I don't doubt that we may go and get one. I feel like we're going to have to wait to maybe the very end. But if we're going off of this attack, what we got going on, I mean, I feel like we should be taking the league a little by storm, that little bit more than what people anticipate. You know, one thing that we've got is up front, which is legs. With Ollie Watkins joining the fold potentially, it's more than just legs. You've got pressing monsters. Well, you can see that when it comes to Matthias Cunha, you know, as much as the Premier League tried to paint him out to be this lazy character that walks around the pitch the most, you go and see his interception rate, your mind will be blown. You'll see how he goes and wins the ball back every time he loses it. Again, your mind will be blown. Mbeumo, you see him in a Rio Ferdinand interview, you know, hold that, Chelsea, Arsenal, and Tottenham. He rejected you lot. You see that it's one of the most key attributes. It's not just his pace. I know he mentioned 3, but he mentioned his pace, his first touch, you know, and his shooting. But it's the other side of the game. I feel like Rio Ferdinand definitely provided some much needed questions, and we got much needed answers. And one of them was to do with, you know, tracking back and doing both sides of the game, you know. We see in training Mbeumo playing on the right-hand side, more of a wing-back interchanging with the likes of Mantato. So who knows what kind of role we might see him in future, if need be, if emergency. You know, going from the likes of having an Alejandro Garnacho who wants to be reformed as like an English Alex Garnacho, just to get his mate. I don't know. I don't ask me. Going from a Mason Mount, sometimes Ahmad being there, sometimes Xerxes being there, and also a Højlund. I feel like this Red Dead Redemption is getting hugely underrated. You know, changing a whole front three. Yes, I feel like the only branch that's sticking out of all of this, like a thorn, is pretty much how well do they gel together and how quick. But I always say good players will always find a way to play with one another. You even see Mbeumo earlier talking about the link up with Watkins and what he can bring. You know, what you're bringing is definitely with all 3 of these players. It's 15 to 20 goals. Bruno will bring you 15 to, well, I'm going to say about 15 goals because he's on penalty duties as well. Ahmad, you know, provided that he doesn't get injured, is going to provide you a good 15 goals, I reckon, from wing back. 10 to 15. And let's not talk about their assists. You know, there's other players that will chip in. You will score headers. I'm pretty sure defenders will get something on there. I'm pretty sure Mainu will score. Xerxes will score a few goals. Hopefully more than 10. It depends. But it's all about the balance. And I'm excited. I'm one of the more enthusiastic, you know, maybe I'm sniffing some virtual cocaine, maybe. I don't know. Call me deluded. But, by the way, I don't do drugs. Maybe I'm on all of that. Maybe I'm high off my own, self-assurances. But I do believe United are going to do well next season. And it's nice to see that United are still targeting the correct players. Now, the other question is like, what if Sesko comes through the door? I'm not anticipating Sesko. And as much as Vivel wants to push for the likes of Sesko, I just don't feel like he's worth the money, even though I've had other people in my comments saying differently. I just feel like if there's 70 odd million to go and spend, then this whole time about talking about you need sales is a bunch of rubbish. I'd rather go spend the likes of, let's say, 50 million. Let's just call it 50 million for the likes of Watkins. And if there's an extra 20 odd million because you're going to pay that for Sesko, go get me a midfielder. Hold tight, Lucien Agume. Everything seems to be going correct. It's all about time, though. How quick we can get players out. The wantaways, the ones that are not wanting to be here, not wanting to work hard. And even then, if anyone watched Stretford Paddock, allegedly, I don't know how true this is, but players have had to sign something brand new in terms of the contract and their professionalism. Apparently, they're never to ignore fans, to make sure they behave in a certain manner. It's nice to see that there's some certain standards being put across to the players for this club, because if you want to be successful, then things have to change. You have to act accordingly. Dress code, just different formalities that I feel like, and I do rate. I feel like the way you conduct yourself in public, especially to the media, because we already know what they're like, and they love to target certain individuals of a certain demographic more time than less than certain other ones, then you'd rather not get all of that stupidness coming your way. And it's a shame. It's a real shame. But the footballing side of things, we got Bournemouth coming up in a couple of days. Technically, I say tomorrow because I'm going to be waiting up by that. I'm excited. Look, I haven't been this excited in a couple of years. I wasn't excited last year. I wasn't excited for the year before that. But everything starts with pre-season. Amrin keeps talking about bonding. He keeps talking about the physical attributes. He keeps talking about, of course, starting well. And it has to start now. Everything we're seeing in pre-season, it feels like you'd see in the last game of pre-season rather than the first. Start as you mean to end, is what I'm saying. But I can't wait. I want to see more Dorgu. I want to see what he can do. He looks definitely sharp, a lot more fit. Xerxes should be back. Mazarawi should be back. And I'm not even going to say his name. But yeah, lots to do still. But the Red Dead Redemption gang is coming back. Yeah, it's coming back. And maybe I'm selling myself short here. But I believe. The question is, do you believe? Do you have the same enthusiasm? Do you share the same ambitions? That's what you got to ask yourselves. Because I do reckon we can go for one game a week. We can definitely go and do bits. Because it's allowed for everybody else but us. Everyone else is allowed a redemption arc but us. Arsenal's had theirs. Newcastle had theirs. Aston Villa had theirs. Liverpool's been, and Man City's been doing it for a while. Chelsea's had theirs as well. 12th, 6th, then 4th. Why are we not allowed to have that kind of, why are we not allowed to have the same equal opportunity to do that when others have had changes within their structures and obviously ownerships, a couple of them, but not us? We're not allowed, because you know what? These lot don't want us to be back because they're scared, because they know if things start going well off the pitch and of course on the pitch, then the damage we can do going forward is undeniably massive. I'm going to get clipped. I'm going to get so clipped. Oh, Lord. But I'm definitely excited. I'm not going to lie. It's just decent news. And it's, we did have a long wait for Mbeumo, but I feel like now United fans, including myself, can be a little bit more patient. We still got to wait for outgoings, but I still feel like they're not telling us the full story. The link up between Watkins, Cunha, and Mbeumo with Bruno Fernandes as well. With the likes of maybe Kobbie Mainoo in the fold, with the likes of Xerxes, a lot of it provides balance, but it's all about finding that balance. And that's down to Ruben Amorim. There's a lot riding on his plate, and he's got to deliver. He's got to deliver. I don't know how you'll find it, but I'm confident. There's something about me that is a bit confident more than less. Little by little, just watching little bits in training, seeing things that, they're telling us what they're working on, and we're going to see it on the pitch. So let's see if that happens. I know pre-season's not much to go off of, but it's the smallest little indications that tell us how we're going to play and also what we intend to do. So yeah, Arsenal first game of the season. We'll see how that goes, because if you start that well and you put their fans in disarray regardless of what they're signing, whew, telling you now, could be a thing. Could be really a thing. Anyways, smash the likes, subscribe, get your comments down below.